Okay, welcome back to the Ecosystem Show. We are literally hours away from getting on our flight to Vegas. Will has just got into my suit. Well, he's about to get into my suitcase because we're taking him even though he is under duress.
He's a big man. Like, if people have never met him in person, you wouldn't know how impossible what Mark just described would be.
Mate,
Mark, on the other hand, we could be put in Will's suitcase. Like, this could...
I've met Will in person, and you're right. He's a big man.
The funny thing is that you expect everybody to be kind of big, because you're all on calls and we all kind of look the same.
Yeah.
So when you meet someone and they're particularly small, it's like,
who are you talking to out of all of us? Who you? Yeah.
I know he's talking about Andrew. I 100% know she's talking about Andrew.
So last night,
Where's this going?
Andrew's mom and I were talking, and she was like, "So, who are you gonna meet at Vegas? You guys have like a list. What are you gonna do? Ta-da-da." So it's all about the conference, and I was like, "Do you know what? Sometimes I really have, trouble doing that. Not just because I'm socially awkward, but because people do not look like their pictures." And I do have a request from for everybody out there. I know you loved your wedding day picture, but if that wedding happened 20 years ago,
It's time.
I beg you, change your photo, man, from your main identification records thing, because it's awkward. Like, have it ever happened to you that you're on a call and you're like, "Oh, we're just waiting for X," and X is like, "Hi, I'm here."
See, this is when Anna and I first got together, and I got introduced to what we'll call the Eastern European filter or lack thereof. It's just whatever it is that there it
but
is.
How blunt is it? How blunt is it as well? Like, it's taken me a long time to get used to that.
But you know what? It's nice. I like it.
As an English person, Will, you couldn't get less blunt than your kind. So, I mean...
I was going to say something very rude then, but I didn't, just to endorse what you've just said.
So, the conference next week.
Well, that's the thing, right? We're all about to get on flights. We're all going to Vegas. I've already had people put in requests for bottles of tequila to be brought home and whatnot. As what happens in New Zealand, when you go traveling, you're like the one person in New Zealand going overseas. And so the whole country puts in their order. And
I just have this vision of Mark as a early Renaissance goods trader sailing about the world. I bring you sheep and you give me things. Sheep things.
Or tequila or whatever. Yeah.
Well, Mark brings sheep, and then he collects tequila.
Exactly. Exchange, right? So what I'd love to know is, what's the plans for Vegas? Like, I see there's almost 6,000 attendees based on the app and all the attendees list.
Is that the number? It's about 6,000?
Well, it's about 5,800 and something, and it seems to go up every 24 hours.
Close enough.
Increases some more, yeah.
Well, and when this episode comes out, it will be Thursday the 19th when we are in Vegas. So we'll know then.
Yeah, I suppose 73 people are attending our session, Andrew. Just there you go. Really? 73 people are enrolled.
What is our session? So again, when this comes out, our session will be tomorrow.
Yeah, the fallacy of free licensing for the Power Platform, why free is not cheaper. And what I love about this, it's like Microsoft threw us, a softball in that one. They did two things. They released a Forrester Total Economic Impact paper that really backs up the whole conversation that we're having here. And the second thing is they released the Business Value Assessment Toolkit from the CAT team. That's an amazing kit. Like, we love it. And yeah, they've released that so you can actually understand almost in real time the economic impact of your own deployment of the Power Platform.
So I'm laughing because Andrew just walks off camera and it just makes loads of noise.
Yeah,
It doesn't
yeah,
do
yeah.
itself. It's just
Mark has said that these tracks, they can be separated, and I needed to sparkle more water. So here we are.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
needed
yeah.
water.
You're 100% right. You're 100% right. No drama there.
just
5,822 people as officially
Okay.
right now are attending the event.
Nice.
incredibly
Yeah.
impressive.
Yeah. What's interesting, the app at this event, I heard someone say it shares more information than Facebook.
Great.
Like as in the amount of data, like I can see every Microsoft FTE that's attending this event right up to CVP level. Charles Lamanna is in the app. I can directly message him. They give a lot in here. I'm surprised.
Well, the drumbeat of people representing developer outsourcing shops and who would like to talk about synergies with me, those messages have already begun.
A lot of people are getting those. Like I got this one message yesterday where this person said, "I see you're in Vegas. I'd really like to, connect with you." And I'm like, "Yeah, sweet." And they come back, "Okay, I'm arranging somebody to meet with you at the event." I'm like, "Hang on a second. You said you wanted to meet with me. Oh, you're not even attending the event? Oh, like don't open with a lie, please. It just taints the relationship when you open with a lie. Man, how's it going to work?"
I love the fact that you actually replied to those messages. Is it just to troll them?
No, I reply to everybody because I try to be good. I give everyone a shot. Right?
So whatever all the listeners of this podcast are hearing
Reach out.
is reach out to Mark Smith about your outsourcing needs or about your outsourcing
any sort of
proposition.
problems you may have.
Right. He's very eager to hear about your personal problems as well.
In case he read the book about it.
I started off trying to do that and be nice, and then I started templating it, and I found that worse than just sort of not actually responding after a while.
It reminds me of the early days of Facebook. I want to say that, for my birthday in 2004 or 2005, I actually remember this. My birthday, one of those years, I guess 2005, I was sitting in Spain on my birthday, and this was right after the wall came out, like the Facebook wall, and people had left messages on my wall for my birthday. And I thought, like, the etiquette of the time said that I had to reply to all 97 people individually and think of something unique to say to them other than thank you. And so times have moved on, but Mark Smith has not, is what I'm saying.
Ha!
Anyway, so we have things happening next week.
Well, it's this week, right? It's this week. Because when this episode drops, this is the stuff that's dropped this week. This is what we've done.
This is what happens when your ecosystem show hosts try to be clever with the space-time continuum and when episodes are recorded versus when they are released. But yeah, okay. So on Tuesday, we had the launch of Cloud Lighthouse Learn. Tell us about it.
Yeah, so learn.cloudlight.house. Go check that out. We've got our first courses online. It's the first of many that are actually going to be placed up there. And it's based on feedback from a lot of the sessions that have been delivered at various events that people feel like, we've created an appetite with some content, but they want to go way deeper. So we've put a few just teaser courses up there. We're going to go into much deeper content. And when I say deeper, so like in the ecosystem architecture space, a week-long course, deep dive into that space will be coming over time so that people can really kind of get the skills that are just not available on, Microsoft Learn or other platforms, or maybe it's scattered across blog posts. We want to really structure a deep learning courses around ecosystems, AI in the context of Microsoft in the enterprise, how you should be thinking about it. We'll go deep into governance on things like that. So yeah, it's the start. It's the teaser. Go check it out. Tell us, give us feedback. I'd love for at least 10 people to go and test the payment gateway. Just make sure it works. You just put your credit card in and if you get a receipt, thanks. It works. I appreciate it. looking forward to your feedback.
And Mark is hopeful you will also receive the course in addition to the receipt.
You instantly get access to the course. Instantly.
But as long as the payment gateway works, it doesn't really matter, right, Mark?
Yeah. Exactly.
Just try again. Go through the process again. Just keep trying.
Quality content up there, and we hope to continue to add value to the wider community.
Is there a discount code for the launch?
Mate, there's a discount code. You got to remember, Andrew, when you ask me these questions, even though I have done them, and there are discount codes, my brain's literally like a sieve. I don't have a retention factor in my brain. It just doesn't exist. And so, yes, there are codes. Do you remember what they are?
The code. The code. It's Ecosystem Show through the end of September. Yeah, so 25% off courses on Cloud Lighthouse Learn with the code Ecosystem Show. Mark is now off to the side creating the code Ecosystem Show.
No, off to the side. I'm now just going, was that the code? I can't remember, but yeah, let me just go check it.
But yeah, it definitely means great. It definitely means great.
So then yesterday on Wednesday there was a new white paper. I'm actually quite excited about this white paper. We did it in collaboration with a Microsoft partner, Codec, great partner, and was happy to work with them. Very kind of technically engineering first crowd. So the paper is ecosystem oriented architecture in the public sector. Now, we had wanted to, I think the Ecosystem Show crowd here had wanted to actually come out with the really big comprehensive paper, Principles of Ecosystem Oriented Architecture, before we started doing these partnerships and the industry specific deep dives. But then we got subsumed by another project around AI maturity that we'll talk about next. So yeah, yesterday on the Wednesday of the conference, the white paper Ecosystem Oriented Architecture in the Public Sector dropped. And it's got very public sector examples, really digs into, not just the principles of ecosystem oriented architecture, but also public sector specific workloads and how those are integrated into a cloud ecosystem. But even if you are not public sector, you don't work with government agencies, I think it's really probably the deepest dive we've taken in white paper format on ecosystem oriented architecture to date. So I encourage you to go grab that. Anna did some heavy proofreading of that. So Anna, what were your thoughts on the paper?
Yeah, my thoughts on the paper were that, ecosystem enablement for public sector is very similar to the ecosystem enablement for everybody, right? But you added a lot of notes and examples from how the US government works. And I thought that was incredibly interesting because obviously I did not have any context of that. So I think those examples really bring home the sort of work you can do in the public sector as well, even though this is, traditionally a hard area to go into because of all of the regulations, and people are much more conservative.
And I should say, actually, so I asked Anna if she would, because she's gotten to know central government in the UK pretty well. She and Will spent a lot of time with UK central gov at another amazing Microsoft partner, Curve Digital. But my perspective, I've never worked with British central government, or kind of lightly, I guess, but I've done a lot of work with the US government. So Anna went through and she added, hey, here's a different phrase. You sound very American when you put it that way.
Yeah.
So it was a really good perspective. We internationalized it.
Other than that, I think it provided a really good step-by-step guide on where to begin with ecosystem architecture, and most importantly, how to articulate the message to, your execs, your board, your customers.
Even if you're not in PubSec, it's so important that you go read this white paper. One of the biggest benefits that we bring as consultants into our customers is cross-industry pollination, right? I can remember sitting with an executive in a company, and he said one of the values, and I was actually had my Microsoft hat on. I was representing Microsoft in this meeting. I was with Microsoft people, not as a partner. And they said the biggest value they see that Microsoft provide outside of software and licensing is cross-industry pollination. He goes, you've seen things in other sectors that we don't see because we're just focused on our sectors. And there could be something over there that we're not trying because it's not our sector and we haven't thought of it. But the value that you can bring is this kind of worldview around totally unrelated industries. And you never know what could pollinate or what could spark an idea that could be applied in the sector that he was working in. And it was that thought has stuck with me for over 10 years. That one meeting of the literally thousands of meetings I've been in like that really resonated with me, that the more you broadly understand various industry challenges, it makes you a better consultant. It gives you the ability to advise better.
I think I agree. And nowadays that's valid with technology as well. I was telling Will today that I had a meeting with a team at Microsoft formed for the first time out of 3 teams, actually, Power Platform, Modern Work, and Copilot. And they all wanted to sort of form a strategy and go after the same customers, same deals, same projects. And that's how they actually came, in this case, to Curve Digital to say, I think you guys can do that. So I feel like the more organizations can go cross-industry, exactly like you're saying, via Microsoft technology, but then also looking cross-departments from their technology stacks, as successful they will be in this day and age.
That would be a great episode for us to do one day, where we think of some of the industries that each of us have had the opportunity to work in, and we talk a little bit about, what are things that those industries do with this technology that we wish other industries would learn from and copy and import. I think that would be a cool episode. We should give that a go.
I absolutely agree, but it is a really interesting topic in general, because I've worked in healthcare and I've worked in construction, and actually it's amazing because when you look at large scale construction, it's multidisciplinary teams building large houses.
Yeah.
If you look at large scale hospital operations, even down to porters, etc., it is multidisciplinary teams focusing on an individual. So you start looking at how one optimizes. Actually, that can be cross what am I trying to get? Pollinated, I guess, is a word from you. So, but you see stuff like that all the time, and it's always in those sort of places where you least expect to see it, because you don't think there is a link, that there absolutely is one. It's the same as when you're studying for tech, but you start reading business books and psychology books and gaming books, etc., and suddenly you have these great innovative ideas because you're borrowing from different disciplines. It's the same principle.
It is the smashing together of different concepts that innovation comes about, right? And it's interesting you say that about construction and medical industry, because there's a book that came out that I read about 10 years ago called The Checklist Manifesto. And in that, this author, he uses the construction industry and the medical industry as his 2 main case studies for condoning the need to checklist repeatable processes that experts, and he's talking about, he was using example of with physicians and then construction managers on site, etc., that it's so easy if a skill becomes second nature for you to create a blind spot to actually doing it. And so the whole premise was, if you have a checklist, that, you stop secondary infection in patients based on even a procedure like washing hands in a hospital by a physician.
It's your run book, absolutely.
Yeah.
So we've buried the lead, because today, the Thursday of Power Platform Conference, Anna, what is the big one? What's the big project that's out today?
Today, we managed to finish and publish the second edition of the Crafting Your Future Ready AI Strategy white paper. And version 2 is sort of like 3 version 1s, I guess. It's huge. It's a huge it's a huge document. We call it the Bible. We started by trying to correct, or rather refresh, what has happened ever since the first white paper was published, which was only like a few months ago, 8 months ago, 6 months ago, 8 months ago.
8-9 months ago, yeah.
And we already found that it was not accurate anymore. So we were like, right, this is going to be accurate, which meant for us, we're just going to change the ecosystem maps, like a few diagrams, maybe a few steps. And then we're like, wait, there are so many more co-pilots, and what do we do with them? And oh my God, responsible AI is such a big, subject right now. And for the organizations who already started having an AI strategy and they're employing some of their data best practices, and data readiness activities to use Copilot, how do they measure where they are and what they should do next? So most of the 69 pages of this white paper have been written by Andrew, but we had a lot of input from other people. Shout out to Donna Sarkar in particular here, and our buddy Chris, who couldn't make it for this particular episode today. But yeah, we think we're very proud of our little Bible.
Yeah. I suppose one of the things when they say it's large, most white papers are about 30 pages in length, or maybe 35. This is 70, right?
This is 70 Word document pages.
So we're talking about, let me just check the font size here for you. This is, this is 0.8 font size. So we're talking about a lot of content, a lot of diagrams, for those of us that's thinking pictures. This is a solid read. I highly recommend that it's on our website, right? Is that where it's going to be as of today? Yeah, it's on our website. So go check it out.
And you know where else it is? It's at the Microsoft link, aka.ms/Cloud Lighthouse.
Love it.
As well. Yeah.
Go check that out. Second edition. You will not be disappointed. If you can find holes in it, please let us know.
There will be a third edition. That is, I think when I texted the WhatsApp group of everyone who's been working on this, and I said, we're finished, 23,000 words. And the first thing that Donna said back was, well, we're going to do a third edition in November. And I just buried my head in my hands.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
Yes, I think that the one thing that the white paper, one of the many things actually that the white paper has, are a lot of, links and references to blogs and documents and, that Forrester study and specific direction to, learned links on where can you learn more about this, and kind of like proven information, if you will. So I think that the white paper has a lot of facts, if internet can be called as a good fact encyclopedia, coupled with some really good storytelling from Andrew.
Superb.
Here's what we've done. There's the paper now lays out what we call the AI strategy framework. And this is where most of the growth from first edition to second edition is. So we've built this thing, we call it the AI strategy framework. There are 5 pillars within the framework, and they are strategy and vision, ecosystem architecture, workloads, responsible AI, and scaling AI. And then within each of these pillars, there's 5 dimensions. So there ends up being 25 dimensions across the framework. And they're, topics like building your executive vision for AI, your center for enablement, your data distribution and data platform, AI development tools, incremental, extensible, and differential AI, an entire pillar devoted to responsible AI, which is new, and that's a really important field that I think that not enough people are have really gotten tuned into yet. And then an entire pillar on how to scale AI across your AI and your ML ops, data governance, technical debt, or remediating that technical debt, etc. Oh, there it is. There's the there you go. So this is the manuscript, pre-layout, pre-artwork. And Mark, who's sharing now? Is
me, yeah.
Mark,
Yep.
Scroll down a little bit to the next diagram. Yeah, there you go. So those are those dimensions. And what we do in the rest of the paper is we actually discuss each of these things. So all 25 of these topics get treatment in the paper, how you can navigate it, how you get started, what to look out for. And then we finish up, and we won't go to this, but we finish up with the AI maturity model, which provides guidance on how an organization can evaluate and assess and rate itself across those dimensions. So you can actually come up with a really kind of rigorous idea of where do we stand, how ready are we to adopt AI, and which dimensions do we need to most invest in the near future as we, on our roadmap, as we close those gaps and become increasingly AI ready. So yeah, I hope it's useful for everyone, but it's been a big effort.
One of the other things Andrew's told me he's doing as an extension to this is there's going to be a hyperlink for you to be able to go and do a maturity assessment, so you can actually find out where you stand. It'll give you a nice little report at the end, and you can take that away and decide what's next. Where do you stand? What steps do you need to take?
We will build that after I'm done having a stroke. Thank you to my business partner Mark Smith here. That may not be coming out for the conference next week.
The week after, wasn't it, Mark?
A week after.
Yeah.
The Monday following.
Well, Will doesn't have anything to do next week other than go to music festivals. So how about you build it, bro?
My diary's empty. Throw it over.
Yeah.
Will actually has a lot of automated maturity models, so that's not a half bad idea.
Will loves a good model.
Yeah,
Yep.
A maturity model for sure.
Yep.
Yeah.
A mature model.
Yeah, well, I was going there. I just didn't want to be explicit.
I just need to do a correction. I need to correct something Andrew said earlier in the show incorrectly. And so I want to correct his incorrection because he forced me to go and look to see if he had correctly told us the correct answer, which he mentioned something about...
Such confusing dialogue.
He mentioned something about the code to our Learn site being
No.
ecosystems.
I'm going to have to stop Mark here. Mark could just create that code, and that would allow us to know.
It was Launch 25 was what the name you came up with yesterday.
But that's why he said that you were gonna create it right now.
Create the code. Just create the code, Mark. This is unnecessary.
Exactly.
Just create the code.
Honestly, I can't even remember what the code was. I just know it was wrong.
Mark, what is the name of this podcast? Tell us the name.
It's a very long code. Ecosystem Show.
Actually, I texted Chris earlier. Chris was asking me what the somehow we were talking about this, and I said that the code was Sharks on Skateboards Rad Bro 24. That's the code.
Nice. I like it.
We're gonna have to create Sharks on Skateboards Rad Bro 24.
That'll be funny if people use it.
Now that we've created lots of confusion, right?
But either way, if you guys are listening or looking at this podcast by any chance, and you want to use the discount code and it does not work, feel free to reach out to Mark. You're gonna reach out to him anyway to ask him how he is. And to
see if he wants to use your offshoring, your outsourcing.
And he's just gonna
a lot of synergies.
Exactly. Smash
So many
he's gonna
synergies.
help you.
I like the way that's one of the only things I've said on this entire podcast. Trying to do it.
Will's back from summer holidays. Go easy on him.
Do you think it'd be too offensive to, you know how I'm doing these little videos at the moment, right?
Oh, tell everyone the story of these videos.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, man, that means I got to commit myself again. I think I told you last time.
Again.
I think I told it on the show.
Did you say it on the show?
The $1,000 US.
I haven't seen a ton of videos from you recently, and I didn't understand why, but I've been enjoying them. Thank you.
Anyhow. So, you know, I always try to look for a reason for people to listen. And so the opening sentence is important. I wordsmith those for a while to try and land them. And so my latest one that I've been percolating on is, please don't send me your dick pic.
Sorry.
I'm still going to do it.
Right? The reason is, it's the way people communicate on LinkedIn on a first connection. They connect with you, and the first thing is they go, look at all the shit I want to sell you. Like, this is what we do. This is like, what are you going to... And I'm like, mate, you just asked to connect to me, and now you're throwing this thing down my throat without any respect whatsoever. I'm like, hang on, like, build a relationship.
Take me to dinner. Yeah, right.
Mark, they want to explore synergies with you.
It's just, honestly, does human etiquette go out the window just because we're using a digital platform? It's just
but
like...
the answer is yes, it does, because they don't apply the same principles and paradigms and taken for granted assumptions in a professional setting as they do in a personal, where actually, when you're first courting, you have to.
Yeah. So this is an analogy I read in a book around LinkedIn. And it said, you should consider LinkedIn like going to a networking event, right? You don't go and, the minute someone puts out their hand to shake it, you don't go, by the way, look at everything that I sell. Are you going to buy something right now? And the thing is, people just drop that whole, let's have a conversation first. Let's see if we've got, an aligned aura, and then let's go forward from that point. Is it just me?
And it's the ones that I get bombarded, that I think most people do on LinkedIn these days, and it's the ones that don't give up, which I do respect, and I know it is a struggle because it is kind of cold calling in a way, but I do think there has to be a cutoff point, and it might just be me having to respond occasionally. But you are right; it's becoming quite a peculiar place.
Yeah, I actually said that to a lady that messaged me the other day, using that, the exact direct thing. And I said, I just said, how rude. Would you invite me back to your house when I just first met you? And she came back and apologized and said, sorry, you're so right. It's just offensive.
Yeah, absolutely. Couldn't agree more. And you're more likely to get a better reaction if you start off with a few jokes, get to know each other on a personal level, and then jump into to business. Yeah.
Do we have something in common, right? And I think it can be done smarter just because you're using a digital platform. It's not just smarter; it can be done more humane.
The other thing that I tell Microsoft partners this, so not even necessarily the I'm going to randomly message people on LinkedIn business, but it's fair game if you're trying to sell something, a product, a service, whatever, right? Because most people work and that's what you do, right? But excuse me, you have to offer something of value, right? Yeah. And I don't mean just the product is of value, the relationship has to be of value. So that's why I've always been such a big fan of, and I tell partners this all the time, you need to have some big ideas that you really commit yourself to in terms of creating. Thought leadership is such a throwaway phrase, but I think it's an important phrase, right? Introduce useful concepts, useful thoughts. This can be architecture, or write a white paper on it, or develop a solution accelerator that you open source or that you share for free. And I just think that turn up to the business opportunity with kind of an open hand and say, I'm not asking you to buy something from me. I'm sharing this with you, and if you think this is valuable, then you'll want to do more with me. And if you don't, then great, we're not the right fit. I think that's important.
It's Gary Vaynerchuk has this kind of way of of working in a digital world, and he calls it basically a boxing analogy, left, right, from a boxing perspective, which he says what you'll want to do is give value twice before you then talk about something that you do or that they could engage with you. So give two lots of value to every one lot of request for, hey, can we talk about me?
It's the same principle of when you're asking a friend that you haven't spoken to for a while, you need a favor of them. So you build it up over a few days. Hey, how you been? Next one, how's work treating you? Next, do you mind coming around and help me fix my plumbing or whatever it is?
Right.
Yeah. It's like my boy yesterday calls me from university. Hey, Dad, how are you? And because I'm waiting for the ask, right? Because I know where we're going.
Your kind doesn't call unless you need something.
And it's, Dad, like, how's your week been? It's been good, mate. It's been good. After Vegas things. Yeah. Oh, Dad, I really enjoyed this. Yeah. Dad, I need bond money to go into a new flat. Right. Okay. Now we're at the point of the call. Like, I know. Yeah. Classic.
Oh, God. And on that note, shall we let everyone get back to the conference? I'm sure that everyone has taken, an hour out of this thing. You traveled to Vegas, and then as soon as this dropped, you went up to your hotel room and you watched the show. So thank you, everyone.